Last Sunday morning, Mary stood in her kitchen, staring at a drawer that refused to close. She gave it a little shove. Nothing. It was stuffed to the brim with old batteries, takeout menus, and keys she hadn't used in years. She chuckled to herself. When did this become my life? Sound familiar? Have you ever stood in your home and felt like the walls were closing in, not from lack of space, but from too much stuff? Over time, without realizing it, even the most organized among us can find our homes slowly turning into a maze of memories, mismatched socks, and unopened mail. But what if reclaiming your space, and your peace of mind, didn't have to be overwhelming? What if you could start today, right now, with just one drawer, one step, one small win? In this video, we'll uncover 16 clutter culprits that might be quietly stealing your space and joy. And you won't believe number 12. Ready to breathe a little easier and fall in love with your home all over again? Let's get started. Number 1. The paper trap. Piles, printouts, and post-it notes. Let's start with one of the sneakiest clutter culprits. Paper. Not the kind you use for crafts or jotting down a quick note, but the piles of it that slowly take over your countertops, kitchen tables, and home office spaces. We're talking about old bills, magazine subscriptions you meant to cancel, medical statements from 3 years ago, and the never-ending trail of sticky notes with reminders you forgot to check. It may not seem like a big deal at first. You set one envelope down with the intention of sorting it later. Then another comes in, and another. Before you know it, that little pile has become a mountain of mail you dread facing. And if you're anything like Mary, our savvy but overwhelmed 65-year-old grandmother, you might even have multiple paper zones in your house, one in the kitchen, one in the living room, and one teetering next to the printer. Mary thought she was staying organized. She kept everything just in case. But eventually, those just-in-case documents became a daily source of visual stress. I'd walk by my dining table and just sigh, she told us. I couldn't enjoy a cup of tea without seeing that stack calling my name. Here's the thing. Paper clutter doesn't just take up physical space. It also takes up mental space. Studies show that clutter can lead to decision fatigue, higher levels of cortisol, that's your stress hormone, and even decreased productivity. For many older adults, it also becomes a hidden source of anxiety, especially when you're trying to locate an important document in a hurry. So, what can you do about it? Start by going digital where you can. Most utility companies, banks, and healthcare providers now offer paperless billing. Switch your statements to email and unsubscribe from catalogs and magazines you no longer read. For the paperwork you absolutely must keep, create a simple filing system. Not an elaborate cabinet with color-coded tabs, just one sturdy folder labeled "To File" and another for "Keep." Set a paper review day once a month, maybe the first Sunday afternoon, where you sit down, sort what's come in, and shred or recycle what you don't need. You can even make it enjoyable. Brew your favorite coffee, turn on some soft music, and treat it like a quick home reset. This one small change made a big difference for Mary. I finally reclaimed my kitchen table, she laughed. Now it's for puzzles and tea, not paperwork. When your home is free of paper piles, it feels lighter, not just to the eye, but to the heart. And that's what we're aiming for here. Next, we'll explore another silent stressor you might be holding on to. Not because you love it, but because you feel guilty letting it go. Let's talk about guilt gifts and how to part with them gracefully. Number 2, guilt gifts and sentimental clutter. Now let's open the closet door that many of us keep quietly shut, the one holding items we don't really use or love but just can't bring ourselves to part with. These are what I call guilt gifts and sentimental clutter. They may seem harmless, but over time they can take up more than just space. They can weigh on your spirit. Picture this. Mary, our 65-year-old grandmother, had a lovely glass vase sitting on a shelf in her hallway. It was a gift from an old neighbor, wrapped in bright ribbon and presented with love. The problem? Mary never really liked the vase. It didn't match her decor, and she never used it. But she felt too guilty to let it go. I always thought, what if she comes over and sees it's gone? Mary admitted. So there it sat, collecting dust for years. Multiply that vase by a dozen. Decorative plates from a cousin's vacation, a set of wine glasses you'll never use, the knitted scarf you wore once out of politeness. Before you know it, guilt becomes the decorator of your home. And then there's sentimental clutter. The childhood trophies, boxes of greeting cards, every school photo and drawing your grandchildren have ever made. These things tug at our heartstrings, reminding us of people and times we cherish. But too much of it can overwhelm your space and make it difficult to enjoy the memories because they're buried under visual noise. Here's the gentle truth. Keeping everything isn't the only way to honor a memory. In fact, choosing what to keep and doing it with intention makes those items even more special. Start small. Pick just one shelf or box. Hold each item and ask, does this bring me joy now, or is it here out of guilt or obligation? If it doesn't serve your life today, it's okay to let it go. You're not discarding the memory, just the object. For sentimental items, consider creating a memory box or digital photo album. Mary scanned her grandchildren's artwork and made a beautiful digital slideshow she watches on a frame in her kitchen. Now, I see those memories every day without all the mess, she said, beaming. Letting go of guilt gifts and sentimental clutter isn't about erasing your past. It's about making room for the present, and that present should reflect who you are now. Next, we'll take a peek inside the closet, not for more gifts, but for the clothes we've been holding on to for far too long. From business suits to prom dresses, it's time to talk about the wardrobe we no longer wear, and why clearing it out might just make mornings a whole lot easier.
If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward.
Number 3. The overflowing closet dilemma. Let's open the closet, gently, because if you're anything like Mary, our favorite 65-year-old grandmother, something might fall out. Mary's closet was packed tighter than a Thanksgiving pantry. Business suits from her working days, jeans that hadn't fit in over a decade, and sweaters she swore she'd get around to wearing next winter. And yet, every morning, she'd stand in front of all those clothes and sigh, I have nothing to wear. Sound familiar? Closets can become time capsules, holding on to versions of ourselves from the past. The dress you wore to your daughter's wedding, the heels you haven't dared to wear since 2004, or those pants you're saving for when you lose 10 pounds. We all have them. But what starts as nostalgia quickly turns into frustration when you can't find what you actually need. Cluttered closets don't just create mess, they create mental noise. They slow down your day, zap your energy, and make you feel like you're living in the past rather than dressing for your life today. Mary had a turning point one morning when she tried to pull down a sweater and a pile of scarves came tumbling down with it. That's it, she declared. She gave herself one simple rule. If she hadn't worn it in the past 12 months, it was time to say goodbye. She sorted her wardrobe into 3 piles: keep, donate, and reminisce. And for those truly sentimental pieces, like the dress from her 40th anniversary dinner, she took a photo and tucked it into a memory box instead of letting it take up hanger space. The result? A closet that actually worked for her. Her mornings became smoother, and her clothes reflected the comfortable, joyful life she was living now, not 20 years ago. Here's your takeaway. Your closet should serve your life today. Every item you keep should be something you love, wear, and feel good in. If it no longer fits your body or your lifestyle, it's okay to let it go. You're not giving up. You're making room for comfort, confidence, and ease. And as Mary found, donating clothes can be deeply rewarding. I realized those suits could help another woman feel strong and capable, just like I did when I wore them. Now that your closet's breathing easier, let's turn our attention to another hidden source of stress, that quiet cabinet in the hallway or bathroom filled with half-used ointments and expired pills. Up next, expired medications and why clearing them out could save you space and maybe even your health. Number 4. Forgotten and expired medications and pantry. Mayhem. Let's take a walk into two of the most overlooked, but most clutter-prone spaces in your home, the medicine cabinet and the pantry. You might be surprised by what's hiding behind those closed doors. Mary, our ever-relatable 65-year-old grandmother, was hunting for a bandage one afternoon when she discovered a bottle of cough syrup from 2006. Tucked beside it were ointments she hadn't used in years and pain relievers with faded expiration dates. "It was like opening a time capsule," she joked. "We all do it, hold on to medications, just in case. But over time, these items pile up. Some become unsafe to use, and others simply create clutter and confusion. The same goes for our pantry. Mary once found a can of pumpkin puree that expired before her granddaughter was even born, and that child was about to graduate high school. Expired food and outdated medicines are easy to overlook because they often live quietly in the back of a shelf or drawer. But this kind of clutter can actually impact your safety and your sanity. Medications past their expiration date may lose potency or become harmful, and outdated food can lead to health issues, or at the very least, a serious case of, "What is that smell?" Here's a simple fix. Schedule 2 clean-out days per year, one in spring and one in fall. Grab a trash bag, a pair of reading glasses, and start checking labels. Many local pharmacies and healthcare centers offer safe medication disposal options. As for the pantry, set a goal to use what you already have before buying more. Rotate older items to the front so you don't forget them. Mary now keeps a small basket labeled Everyday Essentials in both her medicine cabinet and pantry, just the basics she actually uses. "It's amazing how calming it feels to open the door and not be buried under boxes," she said. Here's your takeaway. Clutter doesn't always look like a pile. Sometimes it's hidden in small containers and quiet corners. But clearing it out creates more than just space. It creates peace of mind and helps you stay safe and organized. Now that we've tackled the quiet chaos of forgotten items, let's head into another sneaky stress zone. The drawer, or 3, filled with tangled cords, expired coupons, and mystery keys. Yes, we're going to dive into the infamous junk drawer next, and show you how to transform it from overwhelming to wonderfully manageable.
If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward.
Number 5. Decor stuck in the past. Now let's take a moment to look around your living room, dining area, or hallway. What do you see? A floral couch from 1987? Maybe a faded faux plant sitting in the corner, or a rug that's seen more foot traffic than the local diner? If so, you might be living with decor that's quietly stuck in the past, and it could be making your home feel more cluttered and less like the peaceful retreat it should be. Mary, our ever-resourceful 65-year-old grandmother, loved her home. But one afternoon, she invited her neighbor over for coffee and caught herself apologizing for her curtains. "I swear they were fashionable when I bought them," she laughed. The truth? Her heavy, dark drapes made the whole room feel smaller, and the plastic fruit centerpiece on the table didn't help either. Here's the thing. Our homes naturally accumulate decorations over the years. They start as meaningful or trendy pieces, but as our tastes and lives change, we don't always update our surroundings. Instead, we hold on to them out of habit or a sense of frugality. And slowly, those items start to visually clutter our space, making rooms feel older, heavier, and more crowded than they really are. The good news? Updating your decor doesn't have to mean a full renovation or spending a fortune. Sometimes a few thoughtful changes can breathe new life into your space. Mary started small. She replaced the faux plant with a low-maintenance pothos, swapped her dark drapes for light, airy ones, and picked out a soft, neutral throw pillow set to freshen up the couch. It felt like a new home, she said with a smile. Here's your takeaway. Your home should reflect who you are now, not who you were decades ago. By letting go of outdated or overused decor, you give your space, and yourself, room to grow. Choose pieces that bring joy, calm, and comfort into your life today. Light fabrics, soft colors, and fewer decorations can make a space feel larger, more serene, and more welcoming. And remember, change doesn't have to happen all at once. Start with one room, one corner, or even just one piece. Let it evolve naturally. Next, we'll tackle another common source of clutter. Not out in the open, but hiding in your drawers. Yes, it's time to talk about the infamous junk drawer, or drawers, where mystery keys, batteries, and rubber bands go to multiply. Let's see how to reclaim that space and make it work for you. Number 6. Multiples and unused hobbies. Let's head into the drawers, cabinets, and craft closets for this next clutter culprit, too many duplicates and long-forgotten hobbies. If you've ever opened a kitchen drawer to find 5 spatulas or discovered a shoebox filled with colored pencils from a watercolor phase that lasted a week, you're not alone. Mary, our wise and wonderfully human 65-year-old grandmother, recently decided to organize her utility drawer. What she found surprised even her. 6 pairs of scissors, 3 tape dispensers, and more pens than a small office supply store. "I didn't even know I had this many," she laughed. "And I keep buying more because I can never find them when I need them." This is what we call the duplicate dilemma. We accumulate extras of things because we either forget we already have them, or because they've been scattered in so many places, they're hard to locate when needed. Over time, those multiples add up, taking over our space and making it harder to find the one item we actually use. Then there are the hobby supplies. We all have good intentions. A new knitting set, scrapbooking tools, or gardening gear. But sometimes life shifts, interests change, and the supplies quietly become clutter, taking up valuable room in closets, under beds, or in spare rooms. Mary had an entire bin of yarn, knitting needles, and patterns from when she tried to learn during a long winter. "I gave up after one scarf," she admitted, "but I felt guilty letting it go." She finally donated the supplies to a local senior center where they'd be used and appreciated, and it felt like a weight lifted. Here's your takeaway. Having multiples isn't a problem, unless you're not using them. And hobby supplies are only helpful if they serve your joy, not your guilt. Take inventory of what you own. If you have more of something than you'll ever realistically use, pick your favorites and donate the rest. For hobby items, ask yourself, am I excited to pick this up again? If not, pass it on. Someone else may be thrilled to get started with what you no longer need. And if letting go feels difficult, remind yourself, decluttering is not about waste, it's about purpose. Freeing up space opens the door for new experiences and makes your daily life easier. Up next, we're heading into those tucked-away zones we often forget, the pantry and the medicine cabinet. They may look tidy on the outside, but inside, let's just say, expired baking powder and decade-old bandages don't exactly spark joy. Let's clean them out together. Number 7. The hidden zones of chaos, basements, attics, and garages. Now let's talk about the spaces we often forget, or maybe just avoid altogether. I'm talking about the basement, attic, and garage. These areas tend to become the I'll deal with it later zones of our homes. And let's be honest, how often does later really come? Mary, our lovely 65-year-old grandmother, had a garage that looked more like a storage unit than a place to park a car. Old toys from when her kids were little, boxes of holiday decorations, a wobbly table, and even a treadmill she hadn't touched in years, all taking up space. I kept thinking, one day I'll sort through this, Mary admitted. But that day never seemed to arrive. That's the thing about hidden clutter. Because it's out of sight, we tell ourselves it's not urgent. But the truth is, even clutter you don't see can weigh on your mind. It lingers in the background, a constant reminder of tasks undone and space unused. These spaces often become catch-alls for things we don't know what to do with. Broken lamps, old luggage, half-used paint cans, boxes of who knows what. It feels overwhelming because it's so much at once. But here's a secret. You don't have to tackle it all in one go. Mary started with just one shelf. She set a timer for 20 minutes, put on her favorite music, and went through one small section. She sorted everything into 3 piles: keep, donate, and toss. The next week, she did another corner. Within a couple of months, she could actually see the floor again. "And I found my Christmas tree stand," she laughed. "Here's your takeaway. Treat hidden spaces like any other room in your home. Spaces that deserve attention, not just storage. Break the job into bite-sized pieces. 1 box, 1 shelf, 1 drawer. Over time, it adds up. And don't be afraid to ask for help. A family member, neighbor, or even a local senior service group may be happy to lend a hand. Better yet, make it a project to do with a friend. Sort together and then celebrate your progress with coffee and conversation. Up next, we'll talk about the one category of clutter that hits closest to home: emotional clutter. These are the things tied to memories, milestones, and meaning, and they can be the hardest to let go of. But with the right approach, we can honor the past while making space for the present. Let's explore how.
If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 7 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward.
Number 8. Hidden zones of chaos. Basements, attics, and garages. Let's be honest. We all have that one place in the house we'd rather not open the door to. Maybe it's the basement where holiday boxes go to hide, the attic stacked with memories in mystery bins, or the garage that's more storage shed than carport. These spaces are what I call hidden zones of chaos, and they often carry more clutter than we care to admit. Mary, our down-to-earth and delightfully honest 65-year-old grandmother, had a garage she hadn't truly walked through in years. I kept thinking, "I'll clean it when the weather's nice," she said. But when her daughter needed to store a few boxes, they couldn't find an inch of room. That's when Mary realized the garage wasn't just full. It was full of forgotten things. And that's the challenge with hidden spaces. Because they're out of sight, they easily become dumping grounds for everything we don't have time or energy to deal with right now. Old electronics, seasonal decorations, broken furniture, unused exercise equipment, they all quietly pile up. We close the door and tell ourselves we'll get to it someday. But here's the truth. That clutter doesn't just take up physical space. It clutters our peace of mind, too. It's the weight of things left unfinished, the subtle stress of knowing it's there, and when we avoid it long enough, it starts to feel insurmountable. Mary tackled her garage with a new strategy. Instead of trying to do it all in one weekend, which felt overwhelming, she broke it into small, doable chunks. "I set a 30-minute timer," she said. "I just did one section at a time, and before I knew it, I could see the back wall." She sorted everything into keep, donate, toss, and a special ask family pile for things she wasn't sure about. She even found a box of old toys her grandkids ended up loving. Here's your takeaway. Reclaiming your hidden spaces doesn't have to be exhausting. Just start. One box, one shelf, one bag at a time. You might be surprised at what you find, and how good it feels to take that first step. And don't forget, you don't have to do it alone. Invite a friend, ask a family member, or even hire a local helper for a few hours. Sometimes just having someone by your side makes it all easier. Now that we've brought light to those hidden zones, it's time to look at something a little more emotional. Those oversized or outdated pieces of furniture and collectibles that may be cluttering your space more than you realize. Let's explore how simplifying your furnishings can make room for a fresher, freer life. As we journey through life, our homes often become reflections of the years we've lived, filled with memories, mementos, and meaning. But as time passes, it's easy for those treasures to turn into clutter, quietly weighing us down. The key message in this exploration of home organization is not just about clearing space. It's about reclaiming peace, purpose, and presence. Every item we choose to keep should serve us in the life we're living now, not the one we've outgrown. Letting go doesn't mean losing the past. It means honoring it, and then making room for what matters today. Whether it's an old gift kept out of guilt, a closet full of someday clothes, or a basement of forgotten things, every cleared corner is a chance to breathe easier, move freely, and live more fully. For older adults especially, decluttering isn't just a chore. It's a deeply empowering act of self-care. It's a gentle reminder that life continues to evolve, and so can the space around us. In simplifying our surroundings, we often discover that what we truly need is less, and that the best chapters may still be ahead, written in rooms filled with light, calm, and joyful intention.
Thank you for joining us today. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today, how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue to create great content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.